What's up, everybody? Happy August 14th. Happy Friday, everybody out there. This is Snail Mail.
Snail Mail.
Dang it, Jimmy. Stop making a mess over here.
Sorry.
If you guys are watching the video, you'll know that that was not Jimmy. That was, in fact, this guy over here.
That guy.
This guy. How you doing, man?
Good. Life's good.
Good.
Yeah. Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited for the weekend. Are you ready to get into some voicemails?
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
Too fucking bad because we got a text message.
Oh, tease. You're such a tease.
That's what I do. It's what I get paid for here.
32 is where we ended last time.
Yeah, so we ended at 32 voicemails.
Yeah.
Did we skip a week of recording?
Nope. We did 2 rounds of voicemails last week. Remember?
Yeah, but like we're up to 45 right now. It was like, we've been average.
Well, we said
okay. Call back in. We're getting caught up.
we're trying to get caught up, and I think that means that people call in more.
Okay. So the happy medium of people not calling in is once we're around over 50 voicemails in the
People
pipeline.
don't call in at, yeah. When we're in the high 40s, people don't call in very much. But when we get down into the 30s, apparently people call in more.
Okay. Sounds good. Text message. It says, Evan from Temecula.
Temecula?
Yeah.
Yep.
Temecula. Here. Can we freaking be done with this already? What is...
He send you a photo?
He sent me a photo. It looks like a ChatGPT text.
Okay.
It says, in a short description, define glamping versus camping. From ChatGPT, it looks like. It might be, it looks like ChatGPT interface. Anyways, camping. Staying outdoors with minimal amenities, typically in a tent, camper, or RV, where you handle most of your own setup, cooking, and comfort needs.
Okay.
Glamping, glamorous camping, is an outdoor experience that combines nature with hotel-like comforts such as furnished tents, real beds, electricity, private bathrooms, climate control, and sometimes resort-style amenities. A simple way to think about it, camping, I brought everything I need. Glamping, most of the comforts are already there waiting for me. So that'd be interesting. So that's interesting. So it's
that
more
is
that I think we had somebody call in at some time and say glamping is if you are being serviced.
Yeah, I don't want to admit who it was, but he might drive a Rover.
Dang it. As I was saying that, I was like, that sounds like something Donnie would say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Rover attitude, right?
It totally is.
When I show up, I want it all to be provided for me.
Yeah, you need to have the champagne popped, ready to go for me. The white wine chilled.
And my Grey Poupon.
And Grey Poupon. So according to ChatGPT, if you bring everything yourself, it doesn't matter what you bring.
Yeah, or how you bring
it. It's camping. And if everything is brought for you, so does that mean, okay, so here we go.
I'm ready.
All right. Evan from Temecula.
You know who that is? That's E. Cook.
Oh, I thought Evan Cook was East Coast for some reason.
No, I'm pretty sure that's.
I thought it was like Pennsylvania. I don't know why I'm thinking Pennsylvania. But
no, that's Cyberman.
I know Cyberman. I don't know. Anyways, okay. So here's my question, Evan, and your Chat GPT that you've trained to say this. If I take the wife camping and I do all the cooking, I do all the setup of the camp.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going.
And bring all the amenities. Am I camping and she's glamping in the same trip at the same thing with all the same stuff?
No, because she came with you.
She's going to come with me later.
But if she drove separately and came to your campsite and you had everything already set up and everything.
Then she would be glamping and I'd be camping.
But the way that the Chat GPT broke it down is more or less a structure, not a mobile thing.
Gotcha. Right? So there's an infrastructure set up to provide all these things, not
like it was a hotel or resort.
Okay. Okay. Like an Airbnb yurt out at a winery.
Yeah, I would throw that in.
Without throwing as glamping?
Yeah, even though it's canvas sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm okay with that.
I'm fair with that definition. So if you have a $1 million motorhome,
yeah,
and you drive that to some location,
you're not glamping.
You're still camping.
You're still camping. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I don't know where that line is now.
But you brought the motorhome there and you brought everything to that location.
Yeah. I don't think the Lance is camping. I think the Lance is glamping.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
See, I still consider Taylor the trailer to be camping. Primarily because we're cooking outside still.
Okay. I kind of wish I was cooking outside in the Lance the other day because it got hotter in the Lance than it was outside when I was cooking.
I was going to say, you go outside and you'd be cooking too.
Right. That was the problem. No, that campsite has a lot of really good shade. Anyways, all right. So that's a good question. So according to this, if you go out in $1 million RV, you're still camping. Does everybody agree with that or disagree with it? Call in and let us know. But call in once we get back down to 30 voicemails.
Please.
All right. Thank you, Evan Cook from Temecula. All right. Now we get some voicemails.
All right.
Next one is Nick DeLuca.
Hey, Nicholas. Gladiator on 25s.
He said 21s.
Oh, 21s.
Yep. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Nick, Gladiator on 21s or whatever you're calling me these days. Just listened to the Rubathon podcast. Really enjoyed it. Nice recap. I did want to say, you guys talked about how Lee tried to go up that granite, hump over by the dam at Buck Island, and the swing out came open. I'd never seen anything like that. Lisa and I were right behind him. Made about halfway up, and then the momentum changed in the rig, and the swing out swung open. The rig slid back down, and it pogoed itself straight into the ground like a lawn dart. And he could not go back or forward. It was pretty entertaining, but really just started another issue of how do we get him out of here. And I think Jimmy was in front of him, but he was gone, or maybe it was the Portal Pros. But basically, Lisa and I were behind him, and he wasn't going to go backwards. So Lisa actually had to take a creative line around him on that, which the Gladiator was able to do. And then she walked up the next obstacle, and then I pulled Lee's winch line to our truck and winched him out of the situation he was in. So that was interesting. But I did want to say I had a great time with you guys at Rubathon. I'm a little sad that it wasn't fully attended. I think they picked a bad weekend. It was the same weekend as PNW Expo, and I think there was a Toyota Fest event in the Bay Area that's pretty big. And I think competing with those two events is rather difficult. I hope there's more attendees next year. I recommend everyone come out and do this event. It is a lot of fun, even if you have a Jeep or whatever, or just any Toyota. It doesn't have to be a Land Cruiser. It's a great group of people, a really fun event, very welcoming, and just a good time. Even with the difficult weather this year, everybody was in good spirits and having a lot of fun. So definitely recommend that people join. So that's all I have. Hope you guys have a great week. And maybe I'll talk to you again soon.
Totally. It was a good time. We had a good trip.
I really enjoyed that trip. That was the first multi-day wheeling camping trip I took with Reed ever.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure if it was lightly attended because of all the other events or drama within the actual event itself.
Yeah.
But it's always a great time out there. And I really liked having the tacos out at Buck. That was a lot of fun. I think a lot of people enjoyed that, but I didn't think it was well published because a lot of people didn't know about it.
Yep.
And then, it did rain on us that night or early that morning. And a good chunk of the way down the trail.
That's right. It was raining on me in Tahoma as I was getting things ready and deflating, getting ready to go on the trail.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to say that Portal Pros, I think, was in front of Nick. It wasn't me.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't my fault. I had the person in my rearview mirror that was behind me. The person that was in Portal Pros rig wasn't paying attention to who was behind him.
Scott.
I wasn't going to name any names.
I'll name him Scott. We can do that because we love Scott.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was and then right at the top of tree line is when Scott bent one of his links. And so we were up there trying to get ready and fix Scott's rig.
Yeah.
And they were getting Lee out of the problem down below. So yeah, there was a few problems right in that area.
You problem children.
Yep. And that's right when a bunch of other vehicles started to kind of go through too.
Vehicles that were not at Rubathon, attending Rubathon?
No, they were Rubathon.
Okay.
It was like the wagon run or something.
We got a message from somebody that was out, I believe he was out at Rubathon, and he also encountered the Auburn Jeep Club.
Oh, yeah.
Just being dicks going through the trail. So he was like, I was going to call in and leave a voicemail, but you guys covered it pretty well, so I didn't feel the need to. And I was like, no, dude, you need to call in so that we don't just look like assholes all the time talking shit about AJC.
Yeah.
And we're not delusional. We need outside validation on this problem, you guys.
For sure.
Anyway, so yeah, it was I really enjoyed the event. It was I've gotten to talk to people and leadership from the Pacific Mountain Cruisers, and Pacific Mountain Cruisers and Mountain Transit Authority (MTA), PMC and MTA. There are between those two clubs, they make up 65% of the attendance at Rubathon. They were down at Buck.
Right.
Yep. So that should tell you why the attendance was that low. All right. So let's see. Next year should be a lot of fun though. I've talked actually with Heather. I threw my name in the hat to chair Rubathon next year.
Yeah. And they said no.
They said, nope, we already got somebody that'll be stepping up, and we think they're going to do a good job. But we would love some help with setting up some SOPs. They don't have any SOPs.
Really?
For Rubathon. Yeah.
Standard operating procedures?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is amazing to me. They've been doing it for this many years and don't have like things down in writing that they can hand off from chair to chair.
Right.
And that way the next incoming chair has a leg up on what is the ongoing agreed upon way to do something, and then they can decide, do I want to do it that same way or try and change it up a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
They don't really have any SOPs. So I'm going to be helping out TLCA and Rubathon with making sort of a trail SOP for groups as well as a communication SOP.
Got it.
The way I made for Sierra Trek.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun. For you. Yeah. All right. Next up.
Yeah.
We might have no text message. Voicemail from Richard from Atlanta.
Hey, Richard.
Here we go.
Tyler, Jimmy, what's up? It's Richard from Atlanta. July 5th. Got through spending a week at the beach down in Florida with the family, and had the enjoyment factor of catching up on all the episodes on the way back home. About 3/4 of the way back home. This guy was listening to podcasts, so it was great being able to catch up. I want to address one thing, not the fanny pack, but more of the man purse stuff. There was some Australian accented guy that was kind of addressing that. I know Nick from Montana, but here's my point. I'll just get to it. I think those little zip pouches you wear around your waist are stupid. To me, that reminds me of like something a rock climber would have, where you need to put like talc powder or shit on your hands because you're like having to hang off the side of a cliff. Appropriate to wear at that point, in my opinion. No other reason. Man purses, fuck the whole bullshit with people that carry guns in them. I bet they do. But they also shoot their guns holding them to the side. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about the ones that are all leather and have like a print, like look at the money that I got.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I'm just going to leave it right there. Those are the type of man purses I'm addressing. I bet they are packing something in there, but I also bet half the fuckers don't know how to shoot what they are packing in there. Still a danger, but anyway, that's my point. I think it's rather obvious if somebody's carrying something, it's either going to be on a sling on the sliding glass back window of the pickup truck or on their waist, or you're obviously going to have some tactical type equipment on where it's like, hey, don't fuck with me. But all the other stuff I see around here, it just bothers the shit out of me. Again, Atlanta-based area. it's look at me, and I guess it's more look at me on what they got on the inside. But yeah, anyway, that's just that. I know there's purpose and reason for stuff, but I don't get it for probably 95% of the fuckers around here. Sorry for all the expletives. Last thing I'll leave y'all with. I guess I got 15 seconds here. Tyler, I'm so happy that you approve of the XJ. I'm looking forward to my boys being able to learn how to wrench on this thing, which they're probably going to have enough time to do. And been kind of enjoying driving it around. Y'all keep crawling.
Whoa. I would never approve of an XJ. You take that back.
Not even the one we had here on the, where'd it go?
Where is it? Is it behind the Onyx thing? Maybe. Or maybe it's down on the bottom shelf. I approve of that one. That one's a proper XJ. Have we ever shown that one to the camera?
I don't know. Well, somebody was saying, I was somewhere and somebody said that they saw a dumpster. And it was, I forgot, it was not an XJ. And I was like, hold on. I got to clear this up. Okay. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like that thing that you just called a dumpster isn't a dumpster. XJs are dumpsters. Okay. That can be like a trash can or a heap of trash or rubbish or whatever. But a dumpster is an XJ.
Yeah.
So I had to draw that line in the sand for them.
Yeah. Good job. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you're there to enforce definitions.
It was the mini assistant to a Cybertruck. That's what it was.
Okay. Cybertrucks are refrigerators.
Yeah, there you go.
They're Samsung refrigerators.
Yep. That's perfect. And those Scion the boxcars are toasters.
Toasters, yeah. Call those the party box.
There you go. I want to lift one of those one day.
That would be fun. All right, so
fanny packs.
I'm gonna go bedazzle my concealed carry man purse now. Just FYI.
Yeah, and I think guys that carry man purses have more lipstick in there than guns, probably.
That's fair. I keep more lipstick than gun in mine, so. Cool. Thanks for calling in, Richard.
Always good to hear from you.
Yep. Let's see. Richard called in again.
Okay.
Here we go.
Jimmy, Tyler, what's up? Another day, another voicemail. Richard from Atlanta. I'm going to change and start another topic. Y'all ready for this?
Camping for glamping.
I'm going to get away from the fanny pack, kitty pack, whoever's pack, Aussie pack, man purse topic. I'm moving on. I think I've vented enough about that. New topic is, y'all ready for it? What are y'all's thoughts on, I know a lot of kids, teenagers, are into the AirPod thing, always having like an earbud in. What are y'all's thoughts on people in society generally speaking, and if this offends anybody, I'm sorry, that seem to always have either their phone on speakerphone walking around where you can hear all their business, oblivious to anything going around, or folks that always have like their headphones either over their damn ears like earmuffs, walking around, or like one pulled back so, oh yeah, I can hear you in this ear, but other ear's covered, like out in public, shopping, driving, walking, like not working out or doing like a yard related task or something where they're trying to zone out, but like actively out there where you're completely oblivious to your surroundings. Somebody's like, hey, you dropped it. Well, no, you didn't hear him because your dumb ass has got earbuds in and stuff like that. I can't stand that. I guess this is what Richard from Atlanta's topic is. I can't stand, and then I go into a new topic, but I'm going to be doing pretty well with this, so figured I would start fresh. What's everybody think about folks that seem to have one of the main senses a human has, hearing, always blocked or with something else piping in their head other than in public, the outside world and everything going on? I kind of think it's rude. I kind of think some people look stupid. I just don't get it. That's a time and place for everything. That's what I was told growing up. Time and place.
New segment.
All right. That's it for that. I'm going to pause real quick, and then I'm going to jump right in. Jimmy, I'm proud of you, brother. Working on Jeeps, modifying Jeeps, driving Jeeps, Jeep and Jimmy. # Jeep and Jimmy. Love it.
love hearing about it. It's starting to get after you, man. Keep crawling.
So, I believe we found out the problem on the Jeep.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, coolant is going into cylinder 3.
That's a big problem.
6-year-old Jeep.
Makes sense to me.
It was like 8 months after the warranty ended.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's a Jeep for you.
There you go.
So happy about those Jeeps.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Super great. Has a blown head gasket. Less than 6-year-old Jeep.
Yep.
2020.
That's a Fiat for you.
2020 JL.
2020 JL.
Blown head gasket. Cylinder 3.
Wow. There you go. All you people that are proud of your Jeeps.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Let's not talk about the Tundra motor, though.
Leave Tundra out of this. Yeah. Okay. So that sucks.
Yeah. That was a bummer. For sure. All right. Richard's new segment.
What grinds Richard's gears?
Yeah.
So this one was AirPods always in your ears.
Or headphones over your ears.
Something like that.
Or speakerphones where you can hear everybody's business.
That pisses me off. God, people on their speakerphones talking or in general public. I think everybody can agree those people just suck and need to be crucified.
I start yelling.
Penis!
I just start.
What are you doing to that squirrel?
Just random shit. I just start yelling right near them. They look at me weird and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Were you on the phone? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Didn't notice.
Okay.
Start yelling again.
Perfect.
Like, you're bothering me.
Yeah. That's great. I'm going to start doing that now when I see people do that.
It's fun.
All right. So speakerphones, check. We're all in agreement there. Headphones. I 100% agree that people do it and they're not aware of their surroundings.
Yes.
I think it definitely blocks out what's going on in your surroundings. But I also think that that's why people do it. They're trying to block out their surroundings. They don't want to interact and socialize with people around them. They just want to stay tunneled vision on wherever they're going from point A to point B, do whatever they're trying to do without getting any distractions.
Yeah, maybe.
Do I agree with doing that? No, but I get it.
Yeah.
I actually, one of my girlfriends in college, she wore headphones. There was only wired headphones back then. Wired headphones with nothing, without it plugged into anything. And she would just take the plug apart and just throw it in her pocket. Yeah. Just because she didn't want to interact with people.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good way to not interact with people.
Yep.
Sure. So
yeah, it works.
Yep.
One of the things I'm trying to teach the Mini Assistant is to be cognizant, be aware of your surroundings.
Yep.
And either these guys have mastered that.
Yeah.
And they're so aware of their surroundings that they can lock themselves out of it.
Uh-huh.
But that's when the Mini Assistant is staring at her video game or on the phone or has some music in her ear. She is 100% not aware of her surroundings.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, like, we have a rule in the car that if the car rides under an hour, like, you can't use any video games or can't be on your tablet, can't be on anything, right? You have to read a book or look out the window.
Yeah.
And it took her a little bit, but now she can take me home. Like, I'll challenge her and I'll be like, hey, give me the directions home.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
From some random spot.
Yeah.
You know, and then, eventually,
I don't think I'd be able to do that.
No. But that's the thing. I'm trying to make her like, hey, you know that tree, or you know this building, or you know that thing.
Yeah.
Like, you are aware, start to be aware of your surroundings. And there's multiple levels of being aware of your surroundings, right?
Sure.
There's knowing where you are physically.
Yep.
There's knowing if you're safe.
Yep.
Right. And like, are you in a good spot of town? Are your spidey senses going off or what? Right. Or, there's just the mental awareness of like what's going on.
Yeah.
Just in the day-to-day life and stuff. And I'm sure there's hundreds more, but those are the ones that I'm really trying to make her know where she is. I'm trying to help her understand her surrounding, like physically, where am I located right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want her to be aware of her surroundings for her safety.
Yeah.
And those are the two things. And when you are disconnected, I feel that you're never aware of your safety.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons that
you're never fully aware of it, for sure.
No. You're aware of your tunnel vision.
When I went to New York a few times in my past career for the U.S. Open, the tennis Grand Slam. And I always hated walking around downtown Manhattan. Hated it. Because when I'm walking around, I'm trying to be fully aware of everything going on around me, especially in crowds.
Sure.
I get a little crowd anxiety, right? But I would be walking around and like see people and I'd be like, I wonder how their day's going, and just kind of like give them a nod, say hey or something, or just be like, hey, how's it going? Have a great day, you know. And just everybody was just tunnel visioned, AirPods in, not paying any attention to anybody else around them. And I was like, there's so many people everywhere, but yet nobody anywhere.
Yes.
And I was like, this is so depressing.
Yeah.
So
have you seen that guy on Instagram that yells out compliments?
No, maybe from a car. He doesn't.
Well, he's like I think he's in Vegas.
Okay.
And he's on like a megaphone.
Oh, no, I don't think it's in that guy.
And he would yell out something like, hey, you, you know, he's like, you look so good, like you aced your SATs, you know, or something like that. You know, like you think he's starting off like, oh man, where's this going to go? You know, or it's like your mama was, you know, whatever. And then it's like a complete compliment, you know, you're like, oh yeah, cool. Thanks, man. That's great. You know, it's just yelling out compliments. It's super funny to see because you see people and they just like immediately start to get offended. And then it's a compliment. They're like, oh, you know, like, thanks. It's great. Love it.
Yeah.
But if you're not aware of your surroundings and don't know that this person's yelling at you or whatever, you're never going to get that compliment.
Yeah. I think that, you know, blind ignorance, whether it's intentional or not, is one level of thing. But the thing that I hate about AirPods when people do it is if they go into like a business or go into a public place where they need to be interacting with somebody in person, but they're on a phone call.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do both at the same time. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Just fucking leave, go finish your phone call, and then come back. You're wasting everybody's time.
And or tell the person to hold on.
Or tell the person, hey, I'm dealing with something. Hold on for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they stay on the line and hear your whole conversation, which that's up to you. But like, if you're going to come into somewhere that you need to interact with people and you're being inconsiderate, wasting their time by continually trying to interact with somebody in your head.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
I'll often
that pisses me off.
Example. If I'm in line at the grocery store and then my best bud's calling me, you know, Tyler, and I will answer and go, hey, I'm like one away from checkout. Let me check out and I'll call you right back.
Yep.
I don't be like, let me put you on speakerphone and put you down in front of the teller and have a conversation with you while they're ringing up my groceries. And then I'm going to talk to the teller and talk to you all both at the same time. And everybody in line can hear me.
Yep.
No, that's inconsiderate for everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. So there you go. Thanks, Richard, for a great topic.
Yeah. And I think most people agree with you, Richard.
Yeah, I agree.
You're just the first person to ever voice it.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Zach from Oklahoma.
Yeah, Zach.
Here we go.
What's up, Jimmy and Tyler? Underneath my truck, got to change the transmission fluid. I just changed the oil. I was going to change the diff, but I'm having a hard time finding the fluid, and I need like special limited slip fluid, about probably like 80W90. Haven't been able to find it. I'll go online and get it and then change it later. Anyways, it's not that big of a deal. But you should mention metal music, specifically the Taylor Swift metal covers of her songs. My favorite one is Blank Space. It goes hard. I love it. Also,
who's it by?
Back in my college days, I didn't participate this because I'm not very musical, but I had a group of friends. They did this. There was like some event at our college. It called like Who's the Man, and a bunch of people do like a bunch of talent stuff. Skits, songs, whatever they wanted to do. Well, I have a few metal friends, and they did their version of the metal cover of Blank Space, and it was so good. Like, they were screaming, they were hitting all the riffs, all the fun stuff. I don't know. I'm a metalhead. I love metal music. Silent Planet is my favorite. August Burns Red, seen them live at like Diamond Ballroom. It was a sick show. I can talk more about that later, but right now I'm gonna get to dropping my fluid for my transmission. Y'all keep calling. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
He was totally listening to the show while he's working on the car.
Mm-hmm.
Paused it because we started talking about Taylor Swift metal versions, metal covers. Who sings the song, the metal version of Blank Space that you know of? I'm curious because I know what one is running through my head right now, and I don't know who sings it. I should actually look it up. All right, there you go. That's the one I'm thinking of, and that's from I Prevail. I don't know if we are going to be able to play that or not. We'll see about copyright laws.
I'll play a small
little segment of it. Yeah. Such a good song, Blank Space by I Prevail. So, all right. I'm curious which one you're thinking of, Zach. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Does that do it for today?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
We ran out of time last week, so we got to save a little bit this week.
Cool. Sounds good. And then that puts us at a text message when we return next Friday. So hopefully you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Everybody go listen to Blank Space by I Prevail. Awesome song. And we'll be back Monday with some fun public lands updates for you guys.
See ya.
The number you have called has been disconnected.